Y'all, I am a show enough mess. But let me tell you how God works. I knew my baby, my Duke was getting older. And in the last week or so, he just haven't been himself. You know what I mean? Um, it's funny for him trying to keep up with Break, even though Break was getting on his nerve, but he would try to keep up with Break and have a little pep in his step. But the last week or so, I noticed he was having difficulty breathing at night, coughing and stuff like that. And in the last few days, I couldn't, he wasn't eating that much, but he would eat, but not that much. And the last day or so, he wouldn't hardly eat at all, even when I would try to entice him, with putting either cheese or bacon bits in his food. So the plan was, because it's getting hot, the plan was to take both of the dogs to the groomer today for Breaker to get his first official schnauzer cut and Duke to get, shaved down because it's getting hot and. And so that was the plan. Excuse me. But this morning I woke up, I said, I think I'm just gonna take break to let him get groomed for the first time. And me and Duke just gonna spend some time, just he and I, because we haven't had no mommy's canine son time alone since we got break back in March. I said, it's just gonna be me and Duke today. So the dog walker came and I was telling her, I said, my Duke just ain't been acting, the same. Something's going on with him. And several times last night, he woke me up in the middle, wee hours of the morning to let him out, which he normally doesn't do. But, I'm thinking because he did drink a lot of water, because even though he wasn't eating, he was drinking water up. But but he was excited to see, the dog walker. So maybe, he's got some pep in his step. So when she came back, she said, yeah, he's not acting his normal self. So I went to go pick Break up from the groom and start explaining what was going on with Duke. And they said, well, do you got time to just, why don't you go get him and bring him up here and we'll do some blood work. And they noticed that he started to lose some weight. And I noticed that too. And they said, well, and they said he seemed like he's in distress because he's breathing really fast, kind of labor breathing. And they said, well, let's take some x-rays. And so I'm thinking, okay, well, still may not be that bad. When the doctor came in and said we may have a problem, I knew. I knew. So they showed me what was going on with his lungs. And I had to make the decision to prolong it. But how God worked, I said, God knew I needed to spend this day just me and him. Me and him. So I could say goodbye. And thank him for the 7 years. Because when I got him 7 years ago, I was a mess. I just lost my fur baby of 13 years, and my daughter was growing on her own, and I needed a companion. It was 6 months before I met my husband. And so it's like he knew when Breaker came, it was okay for him to go. But it's just amazing how that happened. That God knew I needed to spend some time just me and him today. So I could say goodbye to him. Thank y'all for sharing this time with me.
You reading, Tinky?
What in the world are you doing in this little bitty bed? Duke, that's not your bed. Do you all see this? Do you see him in this little bitty bed? That's for this little Schnauzer puppy. Do you see him in it? Now, mind you, he has he has two beds of his own, and he's in this little. That's a shame.
So this is love. Mm-hmm. So this is love. So this is what makes life divine. I'm all aglow, and now I know.
And now I know.
Goodbye, baby. Goodbye, baby boy.